When using a personal hygiene product, makeup, or medicine, have you ever wondered, is this safe for me to use? In order for a company to sell these products, they must test them, make sure that the people who are using them don't have any negative side effects. In doing this, most companies tested it on animals, ranging from mice to monkeys. I know a lot of people who love animals don't want to see them torture and pain. I know I wouldn't. That's why I believe that pharmaceutical and cosmetic testing on animals should be banned. First is torturing the animals. It's not always effective form of testing to see if it's safe for humans, and it's more cost effective to use modern day technology. It's torturing and killing animals, which is a form of animal abuse. The Humane Society states that for a single pesticide to be approved, 50 different experiments need to be done for that pesticide, which uses up to almost 12,000 animals. All these animals have to go through multiple testings of the chemical having an effect on them. Different types of testings include shaving a patch of their skin and rubbing the chemical on their skin and in their eyes to see how it reacts, if it causes any rashes or bumps or any disformities to the skin. Another form of testing is ingestion, where they put it in their food and their water and see what happens when they ingest the chemical. One other form of the ingestion is the lethal dose test, which forces an animal to eat multiple amounts of the chemical until they die, so they know what the lethal dose for that chemical is. And another last form of testing is if it's like a gas chemical, they put it in their confinements, in their oxygen, so that way they breathe it in and they can see what happens. Most of these tests end up with the animals dying, so they are put through all this torture with no relief for their pain and wind up dying in the end. According to PETA, each year over 100 million animals in the United States labs are killed and have died due to lessons, trainings, experiments, and testings. So they go through all this pain, again, all this animal abuse, just to be disposed at the end, and sometimes it's not even worth it. Which brings me to my next point, that it's not always effective form of testing to make sure it's okay for humans, because a hamster can have different side effects of a chemical than a human will. Yes, most of the animals they use are mammals, and humans are mammals, so we're all mammals, but we do have different genetic makeups, so a chemical can react differently to each type of species. For a company to approve their products, they have an animal testing stage, and then if it passed that, then it goes on to the human testing stage. And according to PETA, according to the FDA, 92% of pharmaceuticals that pass the animal testing stage get abandoned because when they later go to the human stage, they didn't work and have the same effect, the desired effects like they did on the animal as they did on the human, so they wound up getting rid of it. So most of these tests that get done don't have the same effect, and they wind up getting abandoned, so these animals go through torture for no reason. Another example of this is in 2013, there was an HIV/AIDS experiment that was done on 85 monkeys, and it worked on all of the monkeys, but when it got to the human testing stage, it didn't work on any of the humans. So then again, another example of how it doesn't really work, and it's an effective way of testing it for us, and it puts the animals in harm's way. My third point is how it's more cost effective for a company to use modern day technology, because they have to pay for the animals. They don't get the animals for free. They have to pay for their confinements, their food, to keep them alive in time for the experiment and throughout the experiment process, when they could be using computer technology to test these forms of products. They also have to pay for the disposal of the animals when they die or if they get killed. They have to pay all these costs, high costs for all these animals, again, 12,000 animals for one pesticide experiment, over 100 million in labs die every year. That's a lot of money for a company to put out on animals. There's alternative uses instead of using animals for testing. There's machines and computer technology that you can get human cells, like skin cells, to run it through the machine with a chemical and test it and see if it's safe. Another form of an alternative to animal testing is we do have tons of products out there already that we know work, we know the ingredients work, they don't harm us, so why not make the same mascaras, the same lotions, with the same basic ingredients that we already know work, instead of trying to add like new types of tea leaves and that stuff in there where you have to test it all over again on animals. Just stick to the same ingredients that we know work, and we won't have to use animals. So in conclusion, animal testing should be banned because it's torture and it's cruelty to the animals. It's not the same, it doesn't always give you the same results on how it will affect humans, so it's a waste of torturing an animal, and because it's more cost effective to use modern day technology.